So, right now we're looking at page 79, right up top, the little blue section, okay? Again, one of the biggest things is make sure that you also, besides reading the directions, that you also have the correct, what do I want to say, symbol over top. That was a big thing on this last quiz. I think number one, a lot of you missed half point because you didn't write it as a line. You wrote it as a segment or vice versa. So make sure you have the right symbol down. Okay? So in the first little section, with my plane, number 5, name the intersection of lines A and C. What would we say? Point B, right? What are different ways that I can write a line? How can I name a line? 2 points, any 2 points with the symbol over top. Some of us wrote 3 points on this last quiz. 3 points is not wrong, but you only need 2. Okay? Or what else? The little lowercase script, right? And that's what they were showing in this problem. Number 6, give another name for line B. ST. What else?
TS.
What?
TS.
TS, okay, yeah, you can switch it around. Or you could have used X, right? X with either S or T. Number 7, name a point that is not contained in any of the 3 lines, A, B, or C. W, right? So we would call W what to any of those lines? Non-collinear, right? Collinear just means that they're on the same line. Another name for the plane, WPX. Capital R, exactly right. So, again, a line only needs 2 letters, a plane needs 3 letters. All right? Questions there? Number 11 and number 12, next section, linear measure. Remember now, why doesn't XP have a symbol over top of it in the directions? Why doesn't XP have a symbol over top? Because we're talking about numbers again, remember? If it's a measure, we're not putting the little symbol over top. If we're using congruence, then we would use the symbol. So the most important thing for 11 and 12 is that I do what right? What's really important in 11 and 12? Draw a figure, right? Okay, so for 11 and 12, tell me what you would draw as your figure. Okay? Point X at the beginning. Okay, what else? Q at the end. And?
No, it's
X should be in the middle.
Yeah, P's were X should be.
Does it matter where? So this is huge though. If I can't do that, I can't do the problem. Right? So you got to make sure that you understand what they're trying to tell you in the problem so you can draw the figure right. Now in 11, what does it say?
XQ equals 13. XP is 5x minus 3. And the whole thing equals 40.
Everybody agree with that? Okay? That's why the figure is really important. If we would have put X over here and P over here, we would have had a totally different situation, right? So, I'm assuming they just asked for X, right? So what am I going to do?
Set up an equation.
And what's that equation?
5x minus 3 plus 13 equals 40.
Perfect. And why, so we're getting to start thinking about proofs. Why can I say that? What would you call what you just did? What did you do to the pieces? Huh?
Put it
Yeah.
together.
By?
Thinking.
What operation did you use?
Oh, you got me there. Wait, multiplicative addition.
Ow!
Addition.
You're just making up words that sound important.
You're right.
What did you do to them?
Added them together.
And what did you add together?
The two parts.
And what are those parts called?
Segments.
Segments. So you just simply did segment addition,
Okay.
right? That's how you did it, okay? But this is where you're going to have to start thinking about for proofs, okay? So, how do I solve? No.
Add those
Plus,
together.
I mean,
Add these two together, right? What's -3 plus 13? Still 10. Positive. Holy moly. Everybody take a deep breath. I know it's Monday, but we haven't said a whole lot of right answers yet. All right, are we concentrating now? Now solve for x.
Subtract 10.
Divide by 5. Now, what's the problem asked you to find?
Variable and XP.
The variable and xp. So I gotta have two answers, ladies and gentlemen. When you write x is equal to 6, you automatically miss one. Because you're too lazy to write down xp equals what? Does 27 plus 30 equal 40? Yeah. Did I miss that?
Wrong answer, take a deep breath.
Sorry. Trust me, I'm more tired than you are. Okay? What does 12 say?
X Q equals 3K x p equals 7K minus 2. PQ equals 6K plus 6.
XQ equals what?
3K.
Okay?
XP equals 7K minus 2.
7p minus 2.
K minus 2.
And
PQ equals 6K plus 16.
so pretty much the exact same thing, right? In this one. So again, I got my initial diagram. I can just erase it. I can make a new one. But basically, I have my XQ, I have XP, and I have PQ. So what am I going to do? These two, add them together and set it equal to that. And why did we do that? Segment addition.
Right.
Right. Okay? You want to see the math?
No.
Yes? So, 3Q, right? Again, that's that, and this is the whole thing, basically, right? So, 3K plus 7K minus 2 equals 6K plus 16. Everybody agree? Combine K's on the left-hand side first. So if they're on the same side, what do I do to them? I add them. 10K minus 2 equals 6K plus 16. Now I'm going to bring my K's together. Which way do I go?
6K.
Smaller one towards the bigger one because why? I eliminate negatives. Exactly right. So that means I'm moving my numbers to the other side. How do I move -2? 16 plus 2?
18.
So what's K? 18 fourths? 4 9/2. What's it ask again? XP, so then I'd have to put it back into here. 9/2 is 4.5. 4.5 times 7 minus 2. Agreed? Okay. Make sure you answer the question. Make sure you answer all of the questions. 13. Can I determine if AB is congruent to CD in this figure? Yes. Because why?
Slashes.
The little slashes. Can I, in number 14, say the two sides or legs of that angle are congruent to each other? Because 4 times 3 is plus 2 is 14 is not equal to 16, right? So again, I'm just doing basic math. Questions there? Congruence. Turn the page. Distance formula. What's the distance formula?
Y1 minus Y2. Square. Plus. X1. Square.
Square root.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is no joke. There's a lot of you that do not know this. Does it matter which order I put them in?
No.
Not in this case, right? Because why? I'm squaring it. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. When I square it, I get the same thing. Okay? Do we need to go over an actual problem? Yes? 16 or 17? 17. P is 2, negative 1. And Q is 10, negative 7. So I'm going to take that information and stick it into the formula, right? What are my y's? Negative 1 minus negative 7. Remember, this always has to be a minus sign. So that makes my x's 2 minus 10. Negative 1 minus negative 7. 6, right? 2 negatives make 1 giant plus sign. Negative 1 plus 7 is 6. 6 squared is 2 minus 10. 8 squared. 64 plus 36. That's my answer. Make sure you simplify as much as you possibly can. Okay? Questions? Distance formula. Okay? We'll use it a lot. After the distance formula, we have the midpoint formula. The midpoint has to be a point. It's a midpoint, right? So M equals, what's my midpoint formula?
Y, X, and X
Basically, we're doing what to the x's and the y's here? Taking the average of it, right? The middle. Okay? Y1 plus Y2 over 2. Does the order matter in this one? Yes. So again, I would really concentrate on the order even in the distance formula. And then my answer should be a point again at the very end. So I put my information in and I get a point. Do we need to see one of these? Everybody okay with that? Okay. Next group down. Here's where we start to kind of get flummoxed, I guess. Okay? That means confused for some of you that are struggling this morning.
You were struggling.
Yeah, try.
I tried to. So, 23, 24, 25, 26. Now we start thinking about more vocabulary words. My vocabulary words, throw out the word adjacent. Probably aren't going to use it a whole lot, but adjacent really means next to. If I have adjacent angles, 2 of the letters should be in both answers. Right? Because it should share that arm. Okay? Then we talked about supplementary angles, which meant what? Added up to 180. Complementary angles, added up to 90. Linear pair.
2 angles that add up.
2 or more.
That
Equal 180.
equal 180, but also have to make a what? A straight line. So again, are all supplementary angles linear pairs? Or all linear pairs supplementary angles? The second one, right? Because why? Right. Supplementary means I could have one angle over there and one angle over here. They're still supplementary to each other, but they definitely don't make a straight line. Unless I would cut it out and stick them together. Okay? What are our vertical angles? What are vertical angles?
Across from each other.
Across from each other, right? Remember, vertical angles is when I have things that cross like this, and then I have 1 and 2. Those are vertical angles. And what's true about them? They're equal. They're the same measure. So whatever 1 is, so is 2. Okay? So those are all things that you got to remember. So, in number 23, name the vertex of angle 7. G. Perfect. Write another name for angle 4. There's a lot of these. So, what could you say for angle 4? CDG. Perfect. Anybody else? Now, Merrick started with C. Is it different if I say ADG? No, right? It's still the same angle. Okay, so it doesn't really matter where you start. Number 25, name the sides of angle 2. What would you say here? Okay? CH I would live with, or CG. Why can we not say AC? What should we really say when we're talking about the sides? We should really say CA. Remember, we always want to start with the vertex, and then if it's a ray, we want to go the other way. So we would say C first, and then we would say A. All right? That makes sense to everybody? 26. Name a pair of opposite rays.
What are rays again?
Rays are something that starts at a vertex and goes in one direction. So opposite rays would actually make a what? A line. Opposite rays would make a line. So find a line, and then find this middle point, and there should be a point over here for one ray, and a point over here for another ray. You said what, Kenzie?
ACD.
Okay, but name the two opposite rays. So again, when I'm naming rays, I want to start at the vertex. So she would say CA and CD. And again, remember, CA, CD. Make sure you have the symbol on there with a little arrow over top. Okay, that's really important. But again, more vocabulary. All right? Any more questions with that stuff? So, is there an example of vertical angles in this figure? What would be a set of vertical angles in this figure? 6 and 8, somebody said, is a great one. Okay? What would I call angles 4 and 5 together? Adjacent. Okay, what else? 4 and 5 would make a linear pair. And if they're a linear pair, we could also call them supplementary. Can I prove for certain that any of these are complementary? No, because I don't have a what? A box. I need a box for the complementary angles. Okay? So let's go over to 28 through 30. It's kind of the same thing that we just got done talking about. Number 28. Name an angle supplementary to angle TVY. So first off, we got to find TVY. Everybody see where TVY is? Okay? So if it's supplementary, what does it make with TVY? 180 degrees. So from TVY, find the other angle that makes the line. TVR. Exactly right. Everybody see that? And everybody agree with it? So this would be one of those examples that you could have had where there was 3 angles that could have made up your linear pair, right? Everybody see that? TVY. Then we could have said TVS. And then we could have said SVR. That was one of those on the quiz that a lot of people struggled with. So you might have to look at that one here in just a little bit. 29. Name Name a pair of vertical angles with vertex W. What would you say?
QWP and XWB.
Perfect. QWP and XWV. Now, obviously, the other one, the right one, you could have said YWV. You could have said YWT. We're still talking about the same angle, right? Why can't I just say W? There's a lot of W's, right? Number 30. If the measure of angle SXW is 5x minus 16, find the value of x so that SX is what to WY? What's that little symbol mean? And what does it mean if things are perpendicular to each other? They cross and make what? 90 degrees. Okay? So, if SXW is 5x minus 16, how do I find x? Equal it to 90 and solve. Exactly right. So, after we prove that, by finding the answer, we could put a little box right at x, right? On both sides, or either side. Okay? Any more questions to that? So, Lauren, let's go back to the quiz now. Everybody take your quiz out in the top section, if you had questions with the top section of the quiz. Alright, now ask questions in the quiz. Here's my figure that we had, right? What was the one that confused you the most? One of the ones that confused a lot of people the most was the linear pair with 3 angles one. What number was that?
3.
That was 3. So, where is a linear pair that has 3 angles? Well, here's one. 1, 2, 3 angles. Right? Because it makes a linear pair. This angle plus this angle plus this angle makes a line. 1, 2, then this whole thing is 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's a lot of answers for that one. You just had to make sure that you found an actual linear pair that included 3 angles. And I don't know, that's what really confused some of you. Okay? So, any more questions on the quiz? Ask now, please.
4.
4. What does 4 say?
Name a pair of angles that are complementary.
That are complementary. Okay, so if they write this box right here, there's actually a box where? Everywhere, right? There's actually a box right here, and right there. Everybody agree with that? Why? Because if there's a box here, this way we would call those 2 angles what? Vertical. So if this is 90, this one has to be 90 because of vertical angles. But then this way, or this way, they would mean a linear pair. So 90 and 90 have to make up that line. So if this one's 90, that one has to be 90. Now we're looking for 2 angles that make up that box. So pick the box, whatever box you want, and find 2 angles that do that. How about right here? This angle and this angle. I don't really want to put arcs there because they're not congruent, but that and that would add up to this box, right? What else? Well, there's only one there. There's only one there. If you would use this one up here, then you'd have to use 3. Does it say just 2? for that one? I don't remember.
A pair of angles.
A pair. So the only one that you really could answer is this one down here. So what's my answer? RTK and KTS. But notice, they're adjacent, so they share KT. KT has to be in both answers. And that's true for anything that are adjacent and then complementary if they make the box. But again, complementary doesn't have to just be in a figure together. I could have one 60-degree angle here and a 30-degree angle over there, and they're still complementary to each other. Okay? Any more on the quiz? One more on the quiz. I actually kind of a trick question. Number 11. Was this regular? By definition, we said that it had to be regular only if and only if the sides and the angles were congruent. Well, we didn't show anything about the angles, did we? We didn't put the little arcs in there. So by definition, this would be no. But if you had congruent sides like this, I don't think it's possible to not have congruent angles. So by the look of it, and I told you can't really see or go by the look, you would say yes, they are, it is regular. But from here on out, by definition, the sides and the angles have to be congruent to each other. So you needed the slashes like you had, but you needed the little arcs all the way around it too. So 11 should have actually been no, but it was kind of confusing, so I don't think it counted it wrong either way. All right. The last section then was about perimeter and circumference. Okay? Perimeter means what? The distance all the way around. And what do I call it in a circle? Circumference. It means the same thing though. What is the formula for circumference? Pi d or 2 pi r. Okay? What is my label for circumference or perimeter?
No,
Just the unit.
Just the units, right? And if nothing is given to you, then write units. Okay? What about area? Squared for my label. What is the area of a rectangle or a quadrilateral? Base times height. And how do I know the base and the height? It makes a what? A right angle. The box, right? She's coming out of it, folks. What's a triangle? Area of a triangle. Base times height divided by 2. And a circle. Pi radius squared. Exactly right. Okay? So, make sure you read the directions for every single part. Some of you got some wrong at the end because you didn't write the formulas down. That was the easy part. Don't forget symbols. It's way different between a line and a segment, correct? So make sure you have your arrows or you don't have your arrows.
For a segment, we did for.
Yes. Any other general questions?